Hello everybody, welcome to Matt's World once again. Thank you all so much for the overwhelming support on my last football video. As I'm sat here recording this, it's on 7.1k views. I was not expecting views like that, so thank you very much for the support on that video. It really does mean the world to me, honestly. So I'm making a little sequel to that video, a little idea I came up with. Today, I am going to be ranking all of the championship fixtures at Hillsborough in terms of atmosphere and attendance this season. So this isn't ranking specifically the away fans. This is ranking just the atmosphere in the ground as a whole and the quality of football displayed on the pitch. Keep in mind, Sheffield Wednesday were the second worst team in the league at home this season. There was only one team worse than us at home this season, and that was Hull. So, yeah, this is going to be a pretty poor ranking video, I'm afraid. But anyway, without further ado, enough of the waffle. Let's just get on with the video. So, I've got my trusty programme here from the final day of the season with all of the numbers and statistics and everything in. For all the attendances. So we're going to go in fixture order once again, and we're going to start with Plymouth. Now, this game had an attendance of 29,535. You'd expect it to have a lot of attendance for it being the first game of the season. Plymouth fans, like, you can watch my away fans ranking video as to what I think of their away fans on this particular game, but they were making noise until we were battering them. But in terms of quality of football on the pitch and overall fan attendance, I'm going to give this game an S. Like, it was a 4-0 home win. Like, it was our best home win all season, and it was the first game. Like, genuinely, the quality of football I saw on the pitch was outstanding. Like, don't get me wrong, I know people in comments are going to be like, but it was against Rooney's Plymouth, and Rooney's Plymouth were rubbish, blah, blah, blah. Well, this was first game. Remember, this was first game at season. Nobody knew what was going to happen. This was the first game of the season, right? And like, I turned to my mate who was with me at the game, and I said to him, if Wednesday keep playing like that, we're going to be going places this season. We did not play like that for the rest of the season, at least not at home. So yeah, this is going in S tier. And next game were Leeds, and fan atmosphere were great. The attendance of this game was 28,800. So again, a lot of fans coming in, especially for a Tuesday night. But again, I get you, it's a Yorkshire derby, so there are going to be a lot, you say. So, but I can't argue with the atmosphere and the quality of football I saw from both teams. Again, this is going in S tier. The Leeds fans were loud. You already know my opinion of them from my last football video. So give that a watch if you haven't already. Which a lot of you probably have already with the amount of views it has. Anyway, so yeah, the quality of football was really good. I thought Wednesday were decent for about the first 20 minutes, but Leeds' quality of football was just immaculate. They were just, no wonder they won league. Like, they came and curb stomped us, kept a clean sheet, won 2-0. A clean sheet with Meslier in goal, might I add. That might be more of a reflection of our forwards as a whole than their backline, but pardon me. Again, quality of football in this game were amazing. It was a very good quality game all around, and they were a very good Leeds team, and the home and away fans were giving it some. Even when we were 2-0 down, our fans were still singing. But this was still where we were unaware of what the home season would bring. So next game was QPR, and this time we had an attendance of 26,283 fans here. And the away fans brought considerable numbers. This game was a bit of a slog for 90 minutes, pretty much. It was a 0-0. No goals. There were a few chances, but in like the 91st, 92nd minute, Barry Bannon scored an overhead bicycle kick, and we all went into ecstasy because we were thinking, oh, this is great, this is another home win, blah, blah, blah. Then they equalised in the 96th minute. It was like last seconds at game they equalised, so their fans obviously went nuts because they were nicking a point in 9 seconds at game. We couldn't do anything about it. But in terms of fan noise and quality of football, I think I'm going to put this at A. Like, again, this was at the start of the season, so Wednesday we were off to a flying start at home. Our first half of the season generally was better than our second half, and it reflects in this game. Like, we were the better team in this game. QPR were decent, like, they've got a good manager, but, like, you know, they took a point. They took a point. You can't really argue with that. It was two good quality teams with two good managers duking it out, and the away fans brought good numbers, and the home fans were in good voice. So yeah, A tier quality game. West Brom, again, like I said in my away fans video, this was the only game of the season I didn't go to. But based on what I saw on the Around the Grounds vlog and what I saw and what my family members reported back to me who went to the game, it were a good atmosphere. Obviously, West Brom fans went quiet when they were 2-0 down, but they did start singing again after it was 2-2. But then, obviously, we scored 3-2 and you know, that was it. So overall, we've had a good start to the home season here. We've got 2 wins, a draw and a loss in 4 home matches. And we're thinking, what could go wrong here? So the attendance of this game was 26,308. So another 26,000, slightly more than the QPR game. But yeah, this were another good game. They were good quality, like West Brom were a good team. They came back from 2-0 down. We scored 3 goals. It were an overall entertaining match. From what I watched of the highlights and from what people told me who went to the game. So I think I'm going to put this one in S as well, because the quality of football were great. There were 5 goals scored and the away fans were great. And again, like I mentioned in that last video, commiserations to the West Brom fan who passed away in the away end that game. Like, it's just so sad. Like, you don't want to go to a football game thinking it could be your last moments of life. You know what I mean? You want to go and watch your team win. And they almost did. Like, with the context of what happened to that fan, I wouldn't have even minded West Brom winning 3-2. Yeah, it would have been a bottle from us. But at the end of the day, to commemorate their fan who passed away, I wouldn't have minded that. But we still won. And we're thinking this is a good start to home season. We could be going places, blah blah blah. Anyway, the worst is yet to come. So Burnley game, this were a slog. This were a defensive Scott Parker Ball slog fest. This were an absolute snooze. This game was on my 22nd birthday. 19th of October is my birthday, for future reference. So this was, I went with my dad on my birthday. And this is going to be my first C. Like, don't get me wrong, the away fans were absolutely class. The away fans probably carry this, but in terms of home noise and the quality of football on the pitch, it was a tough watch. The attendance for this game was 28,105, and yeah, just I'm not. Scott Parker Ball is really painful to watch. Like you kept a clean sheet, but it were grueling for Wednesday to watch them just passing it around. For Wednesday home fans to watch them just passing it around and then scoring a couple of times very sparsely and our team not really doing much. The quality of football was dire. It was absolutely dire. Like, and our home atmosphere wasn't the best, but that's because we weren't seeing our team really do anything because Burnley were just keeping ball. Like, they were relentless, Burnley. Like, no wonder they finished second with 100 points. If they didn't get 13 nil-nils, they probably would have beaten the championship points record and gone up, you know, probably won league in April. But no, that was that. Anyway, they lost league on goal difference. We've had the top 2 in our first 5 home games, so you can't really complain. So far, 2 wins, a draw, and 2 losses. Not a bad start. Now we have Swansea game. D. And people are going to say, oh, you have an agenda against Swansea. I don't have an agenda against Swansea. Like, I went away to their ground. The atmosphere at their ground was class. If I'm ranking away days, it was the only away game I went on. But if I'm ranking that, it would be like A. Like, the home fans were solid in the away leg, in the away game. And we brought a lot of away fans. So, it were great. But the home game were poor. poor. It were poor. It were just a case of can't be arsed syndrome from everybody involved with football. Like, the home attendance for this game was 22,452. Still over 20,000, but the least by a considerable margin. That is 6,000 less than the Burnley game. So that's already painting a grim picture. Because Swansea's so far away from Sheffield, not many away fans made the journey, so there were barely any away fans making noise. Our home fans weren't really making any noise at all because it were a Tuesday night. And the quality of football, this was the worst football match I've watched. In all of these matches that I've watched, this were the worst. It were genuinely terrible. Like, neither team looked like scoring. It were one of them games where it were like we had one shot on target, they had two. All game. The goalkeepers genuinely had to do nothing all game. Clean sheet for both teams, a point. It were an absolute slog. It were a terrible, terrible game of football to watch. It were absolutely awful. Like, I'm not saying Swansea are an awful team or their fans are awful. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying the quality of football and just the atmosphere in the ground was absolutely dire. It was shocking. Like, nobody could be bothered. The home fans couldn't be bothered to make noise or turn up fully on a Tuesday night. The away fans couldn't be bothered to make the grueling journey. And the players couldn't be bothered to play football. So it was just an absolute grueling game. It were awful. Next game with Watford, I'm putting this in D. We lost 6-2. Of course I'm putting this in the bottom tier. This was the worst. At least with Swansea game, we kept a clean sheet. But with this was horrendous. For context, we were 1-1 at half-time. So the attendance for the Watford match was 25,693. So we're picking up a bit from the Swansea game. But this game, absolutely. It was like, first half were decent. I can't really think of anything wrong with first half. Second half, oh my days, we collapsed. We were like a brick in water, just sunk right down. 2 penalties conceded in 5 minutes. We conceded 4 goals in like 15 minutes. It were absolutely dire. And then this were the only game of the whole season where I wanted to leave early. I wanted to leave at 5-1. 5-2 or whatever it was. I wanted to leave after the 5th goal went in, but I was with my grandma and she was like, "Oh, it's a football match. Anything can happen. We're 5-2 down, Grandma. Please, can we go home?" And then it was 6-2. The ground were half empty. The home fans were just booing. It was so bad. It was such a terrible, terrible game of football. Games like this were just derailed our start to the season. So like, now we've got 4 losses and 2 draws and 2 wins. So yeah, it's not looking good, Brev, is it? So, oh my days, this were horrendous. This were absolutely shambolic performance from Wednesday. Watford, it were great. The quality of football from Watford were great, but I can't, like, the home attendance, the atmosphere, and just the scoreline. I just can't put it. I can't put it any higher. We got absolutely battered. We got smoked on spliff. We were so bad, so bad. These two at worst, genuinely worst games, right, one after other. It was so bad. I can't even tell you how bad this game was from a Wednesday perspective. It was so terrible. Anyway, moving on to Norwich. An improvement, a 2-0 home win. I'm going to give this game a B. It were a good first half, and the second half were a bit of a slog. The away fans brought decent numbers, and the home fans were up for it because at this point, this were our first home win since September. We're now in November. So, yeah. So we got another win on board, another clean sheet. Things were looking promising. And this was like the season, well, Norwich were in complete freefall, weren't they? They didn't have Aronson. And they were dire. Like, Norwich weren't great. We were better. But second half were a bit of a slog. Second half were a bit of a chore to watch. No team looked like scoring in second half. It was kind of like Wednesday. We're just like, yeah, we're done now. This is going to we're just going to win this. And that's kind of what happened. Like, no more goals from either team. It was just a bit of a painful second half. So that second half kind of takes this game down for me. But, yeah, again, with it being another Tuesday night, the attendance for this game was 22,731. So, yeah, it was just like the quality of football wasn't the best. And there were many factors that could have been improved in this game, I think, to elevate it into A or S. Now we have Cardiff game. I think I'm also going to stick this in a B. This were a 1-1 draw. The quality of football, obviously Cardiff finished bottom, so it wasn't an enjoyable game to watch. On paper, we should have won this game, but we didn't. And this is going to be the theme for a lot of our home matches this season. We should have won, we should have got a point, but we didn't. Like, we're the second worst home team in the league this year. Like, not many of these games. Like, we had a good start, and then, as you can see, it's just dropped. And the drop isn't going to end anytime soon, I'm afraid. So get ready. Yeah, this was just, I don't even know. Like, they were fighting. Like, at this point, they were in bottom three. This were like when they were like climbing out and in good form, and they appointed their manager on a permanent basis until they sacked him later in season. But for now, you know, it was a 1-1 draw, a point for both teams. Neither team looked like winning. Our home fans, this was a 12:30 game. The attendance was 23,974 for a Saturday 12:30. That is quite low for a Saturday 12:30 for us. Like, this was like when we'd start, the quality of football just dipped and people just started realising that maybe this season isn't going to be as good as we thought it was going to be. So, yeah, this is just... it wasn't an enjoyable game to watch. The fan atmosphere was all right. The goals were good quality, but now we have Preston game. This is this were painful. This were painful. This game was attended by 23,927 fans. It was another 1-1 draw against a relegation threatened side. Oh my days. The quality was just not there. Our attackers have just gone to sleep at this point. We had a solid defensive performance, only conceded once, took a point, but it's like, on paper, this should have been another win. Like, this is another relegation threatened team. Like, they were mid-table at the time. This were like, this isn't going well, is it? But yeah, obviously this was Paul Heckingbottom, former Sheffield United manager, returning to Hillsborough. I don't think he went to Hillsborough actually while he were United manager. No, he didn't. So he was coming to Hillsborough, being a former Blade manager. He was playing very defensive football with players, and we were trying to like attack, but just missing a load of chances. It was like, it was a frustrating game to watch. Burnley levels of quality, I think. It was just, it were dire. Well, not dire, but it weren't great. It were better than these two. Like, the players looked arsed for a bit, and the home fans were giving it some, but it's like, it's another 2 points dropped. And then we have Blackburn, and this game wasn't great either. I seem to be putting all of Lancashire in C, but I can't put this game in D because it weren't that bad. I'm going to put it in C. Like, this game was very, very poor. Again, it were another Tuesday nighter. This game's attendance was 22,703, and it were a Blackburn 1-0 away win. Like, we just didn't look like scoring. We didn't look like scoring. We didn't look up for it. Our players just didn't look up for it. John Eustace was still at Blackburn at the time. They were still on high of their lives. I think they were in the playoffs at this point of the season. They were just... Blackburn were just so good. Like, to be honest, the Blackburn performance on the pitch puts it in C. Like, they didn't bring a lot of away fans, which I was surprised. They were in the playoff race, and they filled bottom tier in that way. Like, you're in a playoff race. The match wasn't the high scoring. It was like Blackburn were fighting for goal, we were fighting for our lives. Then they scored, and then neither team looked like scoring. Our home fans, with it being a Tuesday night, were absolutely dead. There were no chanting at all with us losing. There were more booing. There were a lot of shouting and swearing at the players and the ref as well. I mean, it was just, no. This game was not entertaining to watch at all. Their goal were great. That's probably redeeming factor was Blackburn's quality of football on pitch. That's what puts them in C. But Oh, this game were just... Oh, it were painful. Now we have Stoke, and this were a 2-0 home win again. And I think this is another one in A. One of the comments in my last video said that Stoke fans apparently get free away travel. That's a great deal. Like, they get free away travel when they buy season tickets. No wonder they bring good numbers. They don't have to pay out. Alright, for travelling at least. It's like, that's a great deal. I wish we had free away travel, but we don't. We don't. So anyway, this were just... Oh, this were a decent game. Stoke fans were in good voice, even when they were 2-0 down. They went into ecstasy, into crazy limbs when they won the penalty. And Beadle, having one of the greatest saves of his career so far, that penalty save were incredible. The high that all the home fans were on after not only winning 2-0 in our first home win since November, but this was also, like, just peak championship football. We were just like, we played really well. We had chances. They had some chances. They had a penalty that was saved by our goalkeeper. Our fans were on the high of their lives. Super James Beadle in goal. Pretty much only time we sung that this season. At home anyway. It were a great game. It were a great game to watch. The atmosphere were great. The home fans were up for it. We won. Yeah, it were great. It were great. So, yeah, the attendance for the Stoke game was 26,743. So we didn't have another game until New Year's Day, when we played Derby County in our highest attendance of the season so far at 31,056. So, yeah, again. So this was the record highest attendance. We scored 4 goals, conceded 2. But the atmosphere in this game were incredible. It was so good. The away fans were amazing. Like, they stayed for the entire game. Most of them stayed for the whole game. Even when they were 4 goals down, when they were 3-0 down, they stayed to watch them score twice. Their goals, our defence were a bit poor, to be honest. But, oh my days, this game were amazing. It was so good. That halfway line goal from Windass. I think that's the only time he's been asked to do out like that. Well, before or since this season. And geez Louise, this was insane. It was such an insane goal to witness with my own eyes. It was the best goal I've seen all season. It was amazing. From the halfway line, it was incredible. Our home fans were in good voice. It was incredible. It was so good. Like, genuinely so good. Like, the away fans were class. The home fans were class. The quality of football was great. There were 6 goals scored. It were entertaining. It were an entertaining game. And, oh, this were great. We were back in the playoff race with this. This were great. This were a great game. Put pressure on Paul Warne either way. This game was probably what was needed for Derby with what happened after they got John Eustace in. So... yeah, it's probably good for both teams, actually, that Derby lost 4-2, because in the end they got a better manager and they stayed up, so you can't really complain, can you? Well, next... oh, right. For context, this is New Year's Day. We don't win another home game until Middlesbrough in April. We don't win another home game now from January to April. We don't win at home from January to April. Our next game is Millwall. We were 1-0 up. We were losing 2-1. Ugbo sends a penalty into away end, skying it like he's a bloody rugby player. Oh, this were like the first proper bottle at home. This were like the first time we'd bottled a game. We were winning. We were clearly the better team in first half. We were 1-0 up. The quality of football were great. And then we just threw it all away. Threw it all away. It's going in B because the overall quality from both teams were great. Millwall nearly got into playoffs, for Christ's sake. You know what I mean? This were a fantastic game of football to watch. It were entertaining. It were end to end. But if Ugbo had just put that penalty in, we'd have won 3-2. It'd have been another 3 points. But like, we're not going to win if we're conceding 2 goals every game. We can barely keep clean sheets. You know what I mean? this was a sign of worse things to come, I'm afraid. But yeah, the Millwall fans are great. I love the flag that they had up that said "No one likes us, but we don't care." That were probably the highlight of the game for me, like outside of the pitch, of what were going on the pitch. The home fans were great. When we were losing, though, quite a bit of swearing and shouting, but you can't really expect out else like that if you're just going to bottle it and throw a game away. Next were Bristol City. They were mid-table at time. At time, this were like 12th versus 13th. Obviously, Bristol City climbed since then. Or is it 11th versus 12th? Either way. I think I'm going to put this one in C. This was not an enjoyable game to watch. We did score 2 good goals. We were winning twice. We were 1-0 up. And we were 2-1 up as well. But like we just... For like 15 minutes in second half, Bristol City had ball. We're just doing chance after chance after chance after chance. And I went. This was last game I went to with my grandma in the season. I turned to her and said, "They're gonna score here. I can just see a goal coming." And about 5 minutes later, they scored, and it was 2-2. It was like a draw was written in the stars. 11th versus 12th, 12th versus 13th, whatever it was. You know what I mean? It was like a draw was written in the stars. And like the quality of football wasn't the best either. The goals were great. I think the goals are what elevate this, but like the home fans at this point, we were starting to realise that our home season was about to drop off a cliff. But yeah, Luton game now. Oh. I can't put it any higher than D. I just can't. I can't do it. I can't do it. Oh, we were so poor. The only goal we scored were a penalty, and they scored an absolute screamer. Their goal were amazing. It were like one of the only shots they had for the whole match, and it were an absolute wonderball screamer. Just for that goal alone, I could put him in C, but I'm not gonna. The only chance I could really hear from Luton fans were, "How shit must you be? We're winning away." Because they were terrible away at time. They had worst away record in league. We had one of worst home records, and it were a 1-1 draw. Hold on, I've missed out a few attendances. Millwall were 25,208. Bristol City were 22,774. Luton Town was 27,437. More home fans will have turned up because it were like, this were a win on paper. Luton was so bad at home until they drew with us. It's like, you just can't make it up. This was so embarrassingly bad from us. It was a genuine, like, they weren't that great. They didn't have many shots all game. The one screamer they had went in, and like our only goal were a penalty. The quality of football were absolutely dire. It was dire. It was shocking from both teams. Like, we were playing like a relegation threatened team at home, even though we were sat mid-table because our away form has been insane. But like, it's so fascinating. It's so fascinating how we finished 12th, but yet we're so bad at home. Like, it's a false position. Oh, this is exhausting. We're not even at the end of the season yet. Oh, this is exhausting me. We have Coventry game now. Coventry had an attendance of 28,121, and the Coventry fans are great. The Coventry fans brought a lot. Our home fans were up for the game. We weren't losing for most of the game. Well, we were losing for... Not only did they score during our minute's applause for that kid who got... how do I say this without getting into trouble with YouTube? Basically, ended up being erased from existence in a school. We were doing a clap for him, and then they scored. And then this were also first game, I believe, where we did the turning our back, Chancery get out of our club protest movement as well. That were all right. A few at home fans didn't do it, but majority did. But yeah, the quality of football were quite good actually. I think I am going to put this in C. I would put it in B, but Beadle dropping the ball to their striker's feet. I can't put it any higher than C. C's generous because the home atmosphere were really good and the away atmosphere was very good, and the quality of football throughout the game from both teams was quite good. But that Beadle. It was the beginning of the end for Beadle at that moment. I can't talk about it. I can't talk about it. He's a brilliant shot stopper, but he can't catch. Sunderland game next. Sunderland have obviously won the playoffs and are in the Premier League now. And it really showed with the game they played against us. They were trying to solidify their place in fourth at this point of the season. The attendance from Sunderland, the attendance for this game was 27,954. So, yeah, the attendance was quite reasonable. The home atmosphere was good, and the goals that they scored were very good quality goals. We scored an alright goal as well. My finger popped quite loud then. And their away fans, Sunderland always seem to bring a lot of away fans. I've seen them bring more in the past, but they still had a respectable amount and they were still loud. I think I'm going to give this game an A because we were up for it. There weren't any absolute goalkeeping clangers. The away fans were good, and our home fans made noise until we were losing. But anyway, what's new there? Wednesday losing at home this season. Oh, what's new? Either way, so yeah, it's just it was an enjoyable game to watch. Sunderland were a good team. Like, they're in the Premier League now for a reason. They were a very, very good team. But yeah, either way, yeah, I think I'm going to give it an A because the quality of football was really good. The home atmosphere was good and the away atmosphere was good. But then, obviously, when we were losing, it kind of just tanked a bit. But then we have Sheffield United game. And in terms of atmosphere, this has to go into S. It's the Steel City Derby, for crying out loud. This was the first Steel City Derby at Hillsborough since 2019. So our own fans were up for it. Our attendance was 33,827. So this is the highest amount of fans we've had. It were a sellout. But you'll be typing in comments, but Hillsborough's supposed to hold 38,000 and you only had 33. How is that a sellout? Well, it's a sellout because our owner won't spend money on our stadium to improve it. We've got a capacity limitation from EFL due to fan crushes in an FA Cup game 3 years ago that still hasn't been addressed by our owner, who owns the stadium, who split our stadium and our club into two separate things. He's solely responsible for Hillsborough Stadium. The club aren't. He is, because it's his stadium now. It's not our stadium, it's his. And we've got a limited capacity for a Steel City derby because that clown upstairs won't spend money to improve it. It's like, what? Why? It was still a cracking atmosphere. Pyros. I don't condone, you've probably seen my video from earlier in the season, I don't condone them throwing explosives at the players on the pitch. At the end of the day, they're just people wearing red and white. Does it really matter? And like, our fans beating up their fans' kids and them doing vice versa, I don't agree with that either. Like, you can scrap each other and hate each other all you want. Like, I don't like Sheffield United, but like, don't attack defenseless kids. That's just a new low. Do not attack defenseless kids. Like, do not attack a defenseless child. Like, what's wrong with you? You can attack another grown adult, but do not attack a defenseless child. That's just wrong, in my opinion. And the bottles I can kind of get, but it's like it's going to be another fine for Chancery to pay, and it's like, the explosive as well. It were like bang in our end. It was just, oh, I don't know. But the game itself, the quality of football wasn't the best. It were a scrappy 1-0 tap-in win from Sheffield United. And after this game, Chris Wilder were just going on, oh, we've won league, blah blah blah, going to nightclubs in Sheffield, partying because he's won league. Look where that turned out for you, pal. We're playing you again next season. That says it all, mate. You've won league. Terrible. Terrible jinxing from Chris Wilder there. Either way, I've said a lot of negative, but I'm putting this in S mainly because the away fans are up for it. They were in really good voice, and like our fans were in really good voice. The atmosphere was great. There was no "if you don't bleep and bounce, you're a blade" chants going off though. I did want to do that one, but not many people did it. But I think we haven't beaten them in a Steel City derby since 2012. It's coming. Hopefully, come on, it's got to come soon. Next is Hull. The low point of the season for me. This was it. We have lost 4 home matches in a row. Not scored in 2 of them. The attendance for this game was 27,342. Oh, what a dire game of football to watch this was. This was absolutely poor. This were a poor game of football to watch from both teams. Hull were absolutely fighting for their lives. We were confined to mid-table. Our playoff hopes had come to an end at this point after Sheffield United game. And we were just... we were so bad. We did not look like scoring. We had a few chances, but they were up for it more. They took the point in the 90th minute with a freakishly good header. Their fans went nuts, genuinely. Like, amazing scenes from Hull fans. Hull brought a considerable amount. But the quality of football was just not great. It was not a great game to watch. It was not an enjoyable game of football to watch. Neither was the Oxford game. And I'm not saying this because I'm grumpy because we've lost 5 in a row now. This is another 1-0 away win. The attendance here was 25,646 and well, the quality, we did not deserve to even get a point out of this game. We were so dire. We were so bad. This was genuinely a terrible game to watch from a Wednesday point of view. I think the quality from Oxford were a decent team, don't get me wrong, but like they only scored once and they were fighting for their lives. Their fans, they didn't bring a great deal of away support. Our home fans, we were just like silent, radio silent. The only chants we were singing at this point were about Chansiri asking him to leave club. And like, if you can't pay the players, sell the club. We were singing that as well. At this point, it was all our home season's over. Get Chansiri out. At this point, our home fans we were silent. It was so quiet and so dead. The cop was making barely any noise. The away fans, they didn't bring a lot, loads, and their goal were all right. But yeah, Wednesday didn't look like scoring. We did not deserve to even get a point from this game, let alone win. It was just dire. Middlesbrough game now. This is going in A tier. Right, this game, the attendance was 27,668. And this game, this was our first home win since New Year's Day. This is the 21st of April. So we hadn't won a home game since Derby. So we've gone about half the season at this point without a win. How the feeling of finally getting a home win after 4 months of watching dross on pitch was absolutely amazing. It was the best feeling I've had. I went with my little cousin and he was so happy. It was a great match. Like, Middlesbrough were all right in first half and we were thinking, oh, here we go again. Another home loss. That's going to be 6 home losses in a row. All this and all that. But second half, Wednesday came out and we were all guns blazing. Middlesbrough just looked shocked. They didn't know what to do. Middlesbrough just fell off a cliff. Their away end went silent because I think they were just starting to realise that their season was over at this point, that they were going to have to win against Coventry to get in the playoffs. If they didn't win against Coventry, their season was over. And they would have got in playoffs if they'd have beaten Coventry, but they didn't. They lost 2-0. This were just, it was such a relief. It was like watching a completely different team in that second half against Middlesbrough. Like we were coming out all guns blazing, thinking this is unacceptable to go 6 home games in a row without a point, let alone a win. Like losing 6 in a row would have been an absolute tragedy. But yes, so this was actually an alright game. It was alright. Yeah, it were a really, really good game. It were a good second half anyway. But yeah, definitely a great second half. I'm just looking up the Portsmouth attendance, because obviously with this being the Portsmouth programme, the Portsmouth attendance is not in the Portsmouth programme. So I'll quickly get it up. Don't worry. Just bear with me. We're nearly at the end. So oh, come on. Stop loading ads. This wasn't our last game of our season, but it were the last game of our season at home. So, yeah. Transfermarkt doesn't have it listed. Here we go. Our attendance for this game. Did I say it for Middlesbrough game? I'll say it now. 27,668 were at Middlesbrough game, and Portsmouth game was 28,346. So we brought a considerable amount, considering this was the last home game of our season. We weren't losing. We were 1-0 in front, probably for the first time since Bristol City game. That we were in front at home. In terms of quality of football, it would be. It was like their season were done. They were mathematically staying up. Our season were done. We were mathematically not getting in playoffs. We were both finishing mid-table, and that was it. It were kind of just the players just couldn't really be asked because they knew the season was over for both clubs. So we're a 1-1 draw. It wasn't a slog. It were an alright game to watch, actually. It was a decent game of football to watch. But our home fans, we were up for it. We being last game of season. Their away fans were absolutely class. They brought loads. For a game that had absolutely nothing to play for and nothing riding on it, they brought loads. So you've got to commend them for that. So a lot of that drags it into be... we had protests this game as well. The Chancery protest was in full effect for our last home game. Black and yellow balloons flying around, and I've still got it. Posters. Flyers. Most people were folding them into paper aeroplanes, but I didn't. So yeah, protests were in full effect. Black and yellow protests. I don't know if you can read that, but either way, I think it says it all on front, doesn't it? So these were handed out by Supporters Trust, and I'm all for Chancery getting out. He might be a good person, but the way he treats the fans sometimes is downright disrespectful. And the way he's just running our club into the ground is just not on. Like, we need new owners desperately. Like, please listen to our pleas for new owners. But anyway, as you can tell by my voice and my overall moaning and groaning, it's been a very tiring, frustrating season at home. Very, very tiring. We only won 6 games at home all year, and I can count them on here. The only 6 games we won out of 23 at home were Plymouth, West Brom, Derby, Norwich, Stoke, and Middlesbrough. That was it. They were all our home wins all year. Those 6 teams. Every other team were either a draw or a loss. So 17 out of 23 games are a draw or a loss. You know how bad that is? That is terrible. That is absolutely shocking. Very exhausting season at home. Very, very poor season at home from Wednesday. Normally we're better at home and rubbish away, but this season we've done the exact opposite. Very, very exhausting season. Like, if I were to rank our season in a tier list, I'd probably give it a B because we finished mid-table. We've consolidated in the Championship now. We've had a good season. Our away fans have had the time of their lives with how good our away form has been. But this is our home season summarised on this tier list in terms of quality of football, fan attendance, and atmosphere in the ground. They're the three things I've considered during this game, this video. Oh, I'm tapped. I'm so tapped. I'm so frustrated looking back on some of these games, man. It's genuinely, genuinely soul destroying. But I love this club. I love this club. I love this club. I can't love this club any more than I already do. I just absolutely love this club. And it's just so painful seeing us having a D tier season at home or an F tier season at home. Like, it just pains me because we don't deserve that. The players don't deserve that. But at the end of the day, they're playing on the pitch and that's what's happened. So it's just a shame really, but anyway, if you like this video, please do give it a like. If you want to subscribe for more content, please do subscribe. BB80 is coming either tomorrow or on the 30th, maybe the 31st. It's coming before June starts anyway. So if you like this video, please do give it a like. Please subscribe. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers before the end of the year. I would love to see you guys next time. So take care and goodbye.